All right, hey everyone. Uh, Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays. Tried getting this to you out while the stock markets are still open so we can take a look at the S&P 500 and gold while the markets are open. And once again, I forgot to turn up my volume. There you go. And we're going to jump right into the charts. I'm sure you all heard the crazy news today that another big company has put in $50 million into Bitcoin. This time it was Square, and they only put in 1%. So they have billions of dollars that they could potentially distribute into Bitcoin if what they see in the general environment, they're not happy with, and they prefer to be in Bitcoin. Georgie, hey, how are you, buddy? Yes, hi back to Tbilisi. Of course, I missed the grape harvest in Tbilisi. That's very unfortunate. I literally had mid-September on my calendar to be in Georgia because that was an incredible time. We're going to get into the charts, but as far as travel goes, man, if you ever get to go to Georgia, go to Georgia, do it in September, try to make it out when they harvest all the grapes. It's about a 3-week season to get all the grapes, and that's when they, process them to make all the wine for the rest of the year. Just absolutely incredible. Can't wait to go back one day. All right. Here are the charts. We are looking at the weekly chart of Bitcoin, and this pop has created a very nice bullish candle. Today is Thursday, and we still have a couple of days to go. As you always know, anything can happen. But here's what I'm looking at. Here is my most important line for the next 3 days, and it's right here. I am looking at the closing top of the last 3 prior candles. This is the weekly top. This was where we closed the week of September 14th. Obviously, since Bitcoin trades 24/7, it is also where we opened the week of September 21st, and it was the high of last week. At some point today, we broke this high earlier today, but we need to close above it. In a perfect world, what would I like to see? In a perfect world, I actually don't want to see a close above this line. I know I just contradicted myself from a minute and a half ago, but in a perfect world, I want to see a close approximately where we are now, maybe $50 higher, somewhere in that 10,925 to 950 range, but clearly below the line. Oh, actually, that wouldn't be below the line. That would be right on the line. And then early next week, I want to see a nice rise. If I see Bitcoin popping above 11,000, say 100, and maybe that's even a little high, but Bitcoin trading on Monday above 11,000 is what I want to see. That makes me very bullish on the weekly scale. Let's go to the daily scale. The daily scale, no matter how you slice it, we have broken the triangle. We will close the day in about 5 hours, and we will also may or may not be above this moving average. Now, this is the 50-day moving average, and it is significant. Until Bitcoin can close above this 50-day moving average and then spend an entire candle above this moving average, this does not yet mean much. It's always frustrating when a candle breaks the moving average and just keeps on going. Because by the time you get a full candle, like what happened right here on September 4th, by the time you get a full candle below the moving average, it is way too late to do anything with that trade. But here is the flip side of it. You see this candle right here, this is where we broke the moving average. And, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you saying the next candle was completely above the moving average. But remember, this is just a day. And yeah, so what? Bitcoin fell a little bit in the evening, but then it spent probably 80 to 90% of that day above the moving average. That is good enough in my book. And this is the perfect opportunity to trade on a moving average break. This is tradable moving average break. This is a non-tradable moving average break. So if this moving average break is closer to this moving average break, we may have a repeat of what happened in late July. However, don't count your chickens yet. The current situation to me is, while it is breaking the triangle, this 50-period moving average has not yet spent any time flattening out. And that creates a slightly different scenario. That creates a potential scenario more like this, where the moving average has not, spent enough time consolidating, or even like this, where we broke the moving average. We even spent an entire candle above the moving average, but now it's way too high. And then we ended up falling right back down below the moving average. So you do want this moving average to, slow its roll a little bit. And right now, we're just going straight down on the moving average. You really want this to flatten out first. So once again, in a perfect world, this is a fake breakout on a daily chart. We pull back to the 128-day. We then come back to the 50 period, allowing the 50 period to flatten out, and then break out above the moving average at the end of October, or at least after October 15th, maintaining the relationship between the 50 period and the 128-day period so that they don't cross each other. And then they both start rising. So again, that's a perfect scenario. It doesn't mean we're going to get it. But as of right now, the triangle is clearly broken, but let's not get carried away. This was a news event that drove the price up. And let's see what happens going into the weekend. Everything is leaning bullish, however. If you look at the funding rate, and even the funding rate is leaning bullish. So a lot of things are leaning bullish. Like as I've been saying, the Aurora has not been very helpful. Now, it did cross into bullish territory here below the 20% line, which is what I like to see. Now, like I was saying, this bearish cross is not how I want to see it because it's happening a little too high. I really want prices to completely consolidate in order for me to find the Aurora to be useful. For more on it, please check out the Learn Trading section. Hey guys, the workshop is this Saturday. Just going to mention it real quick. The Learn Trading section, if you are interested in an indicator that you hear me mention, this is a free section with publicly available links. And if you are interested in certain indicators, they are right here in not alphabetical order, but they're in, I guess, random order. But click on this first link, and then there are lots of additional links to learn any concept that you hear me talk about. And I should probably review this section sometime in the near future. Okay, back to the chart. Low level time frame, the 4-hour chart. I did not adjust this line. This line was here last show and probably the show before that. And we have bounced right into this line. Now, as you guys know, like I've always said, the more times you touch a horizontal resistance, the more likely you are to break it. Are we more likely to break this trend line than not? The answer is yes. So I believe we are more likely to break it. And look at your support. Your support is the MRI support line. Once again, the MRI will have a workshop this Saturday. Still have a few seats left. Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time for about 7 hours with a 1 hour break in between. It will, of course, be recorded and provided to the attendees. Those that had the prior indicator will get a part of this workshop recorded, the part that matters in regards to the functionality of the MRI. And this 7-hour workshop video will be provided to those who will be purchasing MRI in the future if they are interested in it for their trading. Gotta change this background picture to reflect the MRI, not the old indicators. Still lots and lots of work to do. Okay, let's move on. So here's the 4-hour chart, and we are just waiting for this trend line, horizontal resistance break. Will I ever come back to Zurich? Look, guys, at this point, I don't know if I'll ever go anywhere. I don't want to get off on these political tangents again. Here's what I know. What I know is I am never taking the vaccine for COVID, ever. So if that means I am not allowed to, I don't know, leave my apartment ever again once the vaccine is available, and every single citizen of non-free countries is forced to take the vaccine, I will not go anywhere. I will just have my food delivered by Uber Eats. I am not taking the vaccine. That I know. So if not taking the vaccine prevents me from ever getting on an airplane again, then that was what might have to happen. So I am going to take a stand on that the disaster. I have never taken the flu shot. I have never had the flu. I will never take the flu shot. I don't care if I'm 90. I am never taking that flu shot, just like I am never taking the COVID vaccine. I'm not saying no vaccine ever. I actually took a vaccine this year. I took the yellow fever vaccine. Of course, I mean, I did some research on yellow fever. And the reason why I took the yellow fever vaccine is because I was supposed to spend March, April, and potentially all the way into May in Africa. And in order for me to visit some parts of Africa, I had to take the yellow fever vaccine. But that one has been thoroughly tested, and I was okay taking the yellow fever vaccine. And I've had other vaccines, but no. After what's going on with COVID, I don't talk about turning half the population into anti-vaxxers. Let's put it that way. I mean, man, if they, nice effort to get the dumb people believing in a lot of this nonsense, but they picked the wrong virus to try and do this with, in my opinion. Again, I don't want to get too political. All right. Hey guys, if you are here and you see that you're no longer a moderator after being a moderator, please don't take it personally. I kind of removed all moderators and then I added like 3 back in. So that's my bad on that. I'll probably get a lot of people their moderating wrench back in the near future. All right. So here's gold before we get to the S&P. Gold did exactly what I said it had a high probability of doing, which is getting rejected by this horizontal resistance line. And yeah, guys, look, I'm not saying all vaccines are dangerous. I'm just saying some vaccines make no sense. And that's why I would never take them. One of them being the flu shot and the other one being this insanity. But yeah, if I needed a tetanus shot, I'm going to take a tetanus shot. Just like I needed yellow fever and I went and I got the yellow fever vaccine. I did that this year. So right here, we got rejected just as the higher probability expectation was. And until we break this line, there it goes. Now, here's the good news. The good news is you can almost start to establish a little bit of support. And if we can get back, if we can keep this support line, trend line, and get back to 1925, I would become very, very bullish. So we will keep an eye on gold. I'm not expecting it tomorrow. So sometime next week, I was not bullish here. I'm never, ever, ever, ever bullish the first time we come back to test horizontal resistance. But the second time we come back to horizontal resistance, I am actually bullish. So this to me is a rejection. If we get back there again, I become bullish that we're actually going to break out above it. Okay, next. S&P 500. We are only on the only one that's still left to complete is extension B. We are deferring the extension B, and we have to wait for the price of the S&P to trade above this area. If the price of the S&P trades above this line, we will complete a top. But now we are so close to a double top that it will keep making me bullish. So right now, as I've been saying, the moment we cross this red line, I became more bullish on the S&P than bearish. I remain more bullish on the S&P than bearish. Here's the S&P weekly, same thing. We topped with the MRI. We are now reversing. This is a very interesting candle. We did not even come close to the support line of the MRI. We had a perfect 1 to 4 candle correction. Absolutely textbook MRI, which I'm going to be teaching this Saturday. Absolutely textbook 1 to 4 candle correction. And now we have entered the extension phases. Okay, these are the extension phases. Though I am wondering where my extension A is. Well, what happened to that one? See, I'm only displaying extension B and C, but not A. So I have to go to all, and now I will display also extension A. So this is the amazing customization of this indicator. So, wow, thank God that's not a bug, and that is just a setting. So we are in extension A and B. We're also in extension C, but you can't see it yet. We would need to make a new closing high in order to see extension C. We are in the extension phase of the weekly scale, and this has lots of room to the upside as long as the stock market expectation remains unchanged going into the election. Again, we're about to be political, but here's my view. I believe Wall Street is betting on Trump. They are not betting on Biden. Wall Street is betting on Trump. I don't care what the biased socialist polls say from socialist media channels. They are biased. I believe Wall Street is betting on Trump. And as long as Wall Street thinks Trump will win, it is good for the stock market, and they will continue to put risk into the stock market with the anticipation of Trump winning. If Wall Street believes that Trump will not win and Biden will win, we will see major drops in the stock market, meaning that if Biden comes in, he will raise taxes on everyone, of course, not just the rich or his definition of rich. And that is why people will pull some of their money out of the stock market and hopefully into Bitcoin, just like some of the other companies have done. So we will see where that goes. So as of right now, I believe Wall Street is betting on Trump, and it will keep rising. Now, this is not what I said in the last election. Those of you that are really curious, my stock market analysis 4 years ago today. Please go back to the videos, which are still publicly available. Back in, where the hell was the election? Right here? Here? Yep, it's January. Right there. That's the election day. I can tell right here from the chart which day was the election. Right there. This was no, wow, I'm wrong. Where's November? That? Oh, it's a weekly chart. I'm sorry, guys. No wonder I'm looking silly. It's not the daily chart. The daily chart had a ridiculous day, and especially in the futures market. So if we go over to 2016, this is 2018. Can't really tell on a weekly chart. We can certainly tell on the daily chart, this crazy day right there. There it is. The insane spike down on the unexpected probability that Trump would win, because Wall Street was betting on Hillary winning. The unexpectedness of Trump winning crashed the market that night. The realization that Trump is not a socialist but a capitalist made everyone comfortable again, putting money in the stock market. And here's what the stock market did during Trump's presidency going into this year before the whole COVID disaster. Right there. And that's COVID. You know, it was some turbulence, of course, but still pretty good. Still pretty good. Trump's presidency did what to the stock market? So right here, November, 66% in 4 years. It's pretty damn good. It's more than the average, more than the 100-year average. We're still behind, though. Stock market is still way behind. I've been saying this for a long time. The stock S&P needs to be around $5,000 in order to catch up, because it spent 10 years doing nothing between the year 2000 and 2015. Not to mention, you know, it spent like 25 years doing nothing over in the 60s and 70s. Okay, enough of the stock market. I was going through stocks because I'm looking for examples for the workshop. I'm just going to show you one because I just ran into it. This is Aurora Cannabis. Aurora Cannabis, look at this MRI extension, C ends, A ends, B ends. You still have more that just started because of this MRI bottom. This is a monster cluster of MRI bottoms right here. Now, is this a great stock? Well, it's done pretty damn poorly. Has not done well at all. Had its hyperwave going on, maybe. Need to go to the weekly chart for that. Not enough history. Didn't spend enough time in phase one. It did a reverse split. That's why these lines no longer make sense. So I'm just going to delete them. A reverse split is never good. It's never good. I'll throw a butt out there, though. Here's the weekly scale. Wow, look at that. So the weekly scale is giving you a warning that next candle, so next week, could be a potential weekly bottom for Aurora Cannabis. This is not an indication to buy. I'm just pointing out how the MRI did on this stock. And right here, you can see where it rallied a lot. Earlier this year, it rallied 250%. And it happened the week of MRI extension A and C bottom. Now, if I go to the daily chart, look what happened that day. Guess what? That day that marked the low, well, I guess the low came the following day. And there were earnings involved. So I'm not gonna let the MRI take all the credit. But here is your MRI bottom with extension C And over the next 1, 2, 3 days, the stock moved 200. Well, let's not cheat. We can use the opening price and not the cherry pick the low. And we can use the closing price or the opening price the following weekend, the following day, sorry. So we don't have to choose the high. And even if we don't cheat and go candle body to candle body in 3 days, this stock moved 200%. Not going to give the MRI all the credit. Earnings certainly had something to do with it. The reverse split might have had something to do with it. But hey, this is why I pay attention to the MRI. It's not always going to work, but when it does, it certainly works well. And here is another situation. At any point, if we zoom in on this area, if I just grab a horizontal channel and I draw it in the vicinity of where these tops and bottoms took place, just so I have a window, it's somewhere between $4.50 and $4.75. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 opportunities. These are daily charts going back to September 29th for using MRI for potential possibilities of a low. And here's what we are doing today. There's no earnings. There's nothing going on other than maybe it has fallen a lot and it's time for it to have at least a dead cat bounce. What am I thinking? I'm thinking we can close this gap. Maybe if we're lucky, approach the resistance line, something in that vicinity. How much are we up from yesterday's close to right now? It's already up over 10%. I did not see this till last night after market closed, and therefore I wish I showed it to you in my last video, which actually took place right here or right there on the right after the MRI bottom. I wish I've seen this stock, but I did not. I was going through the list last night, putting together slides for the workshop, and this is where I stopped. Because I'm like, man, if I would have kept going, I would have forgot to show it to you today. All right. Oh, wow. I have a few questions. I really wanted to keep this a short show. Oh, yeah, that's the Zurich question. I saw that. Do you think that Monero is a shitcoin? Yeah. It's a high quality shitcoin if it helps, but everything is a shitcoin that's not Bitcoin. Monero is a high quality shitcoin. I would put, like, you have Bitcoin, and then I would put Monero in the next, 3 best, most useful crash test dummies. Look, crash test dummies are very useful to Tesla. And I'm sure there are 5,000 crash test dummies in the Tesla vicinity. And therefore, you can choose 3 crash test dummies in your Tesla vicinity that you consider your best crash test dummies. The ones that are actually kind of useful in helping you make a safer Tesla versus a crash test dummy in the back of the room that already has its arms fallen off. That's your, I don't know, name your coin, I don't know, Decred, Ethereum, whatever, right? So the analogy for Monero is that's like your top 3 most useful crash test dummy for your Tesla work. Hope that makes sense. Do you have any plans to complete another time analysis article? Ooh. I really should. I should. I can't promise, but I'll tell you that I should. Oh, GoPro. Someone else asked me about GoPro. Yeah, I can go look at GoPro. Man, I've been high on GoPro, and I had a trade on GoPro. I was long GoPro, made some money on GoPro, and then I kind of didn't go back in. So it would hurt if GoPro was up. I can't find it. Stop. Whoa! They cure cancer? What the hell they do? Holy shit. Remember when I was talking about this thing when it was $2? Now, the reason I was talking about it is because GoPro has some good IP. They have some very good intellectual property. There's only so far the stock can fall before someone buys them out. Just like Fitbit. Fitbit had great intellectual property. That's why somebody bought them out. I think it was Google. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that statement. So would the MRI have helped with GoPro? Maybe. Maybe you do have an error right here. You also have an error right here that didn't do you any good. But this one did. And this one would have gotten you out with a clean trade. But if you were out fully, you missed the big trade. But this also kicked off the extensions. And we got a long way to go. Now, you are looking at potentially a second consecutive MRI top. So I would not be rushing into GoPro now. I would consider a missed opportunity. Nothing wrong with that. There's always other opportunities. I can't explain it. Someone talked about a giant cup and handle on GoPro. I don't know if it was a weekly chart. I forgot who it was. Someone asked me about a cup and handle on GoPro. I personally don't see it. I didn't see it on daily. I'm looking weekly. I think this is where I took the GoPro trade. I didn't hold it long enough. I took it here. It was right after quarantine started. I love this weekly MRI bottom, so I took it, and I guess I was uncomfortable with it. It went from like 2.5 up to like 3.5, and I should have had the stones to hold it into the MRI top, but I did not, and I got out. Oh, God, the debate last night. Oh, geez. I should do a show on that. Good Lord. Wow. I can only imagine what will happen if Kamala Harris and Biden win. Wow, my God. I will say, though, Pence would make probably the best president. Pence would make the best president. If Trump wins, Pence, I will bet Pence is going to be the next president after Trump. If Trump wins and the economy recovers in Trump's second year and he puts some of those Democrats in prison and he does drain the swamp a little bit, Pence is your next president. In fact, I wouldn't mind if Pence is president this time around. Motorist isn't a fan of Pence. I mean, I liked what he had to say. Is he going to go through with it? Look, I don't trust any president. Guys, I'm the guy who voted for Obama round 1 because I believed Obama was going to end NSA spying. How dumb was I? He didn't end NSA spying. He tripled down on it. So no, I don't believe anything a politician says. Trump's different because Trump's not a politician. So I just liked what Pence had to say and how he said it. And I think it resonates. But I believe Pence as much as I believed Obama, well, now that he was going to end NSA spying. Oh yeah, so when that fly came on his head, I was watching it with some friends, and the moment the fly was on his head, I'm like, holy shit, that is the news cycle. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter there was a debate. It is, well, yeah, I know. That was a big mistake. That was 2008. Remember? And we were coming off uh, George W. Bush, and that was frustrating. Having Bush was having Bush as your president was embarrassing. So coming off of Bush, and Trump was running, man. So Trump was running against McCain, and I do not like McCain. I am not a McCain fan. So that was a really tough election. That was a tough election. And Sarah Palin was not like sweetening the deal. Let's put it that way. Yeah, the Bush Cheney administration was one of the worst. Was definitely one of the worst. I'm not going to argue that. I will not argue that. Won't argue that. If Obama would have actually done what he said he was going to do in those debates, he would have been the better choice over McCain. But Obama didn't do it. In fact, he did the opposite of what Obama said was going to do. Like, it's one thing not to do what you promised. It's a whole other thing to do the opposite of what you promised. Maybe this will be a political channel in the future. So I don't see a cup and handle. To me, this is not really a cup and handle. It's more of like this head and shoulders thing. No, it's not. It's not a cup and handle to me. I'm sorry, guys. Whoever asked me that the other day. Let's stick to more appropriate questions, guys, please. Okay. On this note, I think I'm ready to get going, and we're gonna call it a day. One last look at Bitcoin. See if it's still pumping a little bit. We are right under horizontal resistance. I think the break of this resistance is bullish. We are about to break a moving average that is also bullish, and we are breaking it right now. On a weekly scale, a close above this blue line is bullish. We are about to hit all bullish markers, but we haven't hit them yet. Today still needs to close, and we're going into the weekend, and crazy things happen on the weekend. All right, entertainment and Star Wars. Only because I've known you longer than anyone else in this chat. Probably double or triple longer than anyone else in this chat. We're going to put you back to being a mod. Thanks, buddy. Euro versus dollar. Man, I haven't looked at currencies in forever. It's hard to look at everything. Trying to, I may be doing short videos in the future. Keep trying to force myself to do 10-minute videos. Oh, so the euro dollar. So all these notes, this was somewhere in the MRI. I think I turned some stuff off. So this must have been used in the MRI examples, but on a daily chart because those things don't make sense. Right, so this was one of my MRI examples from a week or two ago. Let's see what it says. I have to align it right. There we go. This good? Maybe. There we go. Okay. The Euro USD breaks the MRI resistance after being rejected by it, setting us up for more upside. We hit an MRI top. We pull back. This is your MRI breakout line. The break of this line usually creates more bullish momentum, which happened right here. I don't like it when this line is so far away from the prior swing high. I may adjust the formula for this line in the future. I left it the same as the prior indicator because I have not done enough research to see if there is a way for me to put this line closer and make it more useful. So we left it as is, but that line may adjust. I'm just going through the history of the daily chart so I can better analyze what it is now. So that brings us to another MRI top. Immediately we break the same line again, setting us up for more upside. We did complete an MRI extension from this candle back here, but we now have another extension working on. We hit a double MRI top. That's the second consecutive. That significantly slowed us down. We had a cluster of extensions that completed everything from all of the prior MRI tops. We consolidated, we pulled back down. We were also on a weekly MRI top right here, right at the high. So there was more reason to pull back. We did not break the MRI support line. We had a daily MRI buy on the euro versus the dollar pair to make the euro more bullish because this is euros in terms of dollars. So the higher this goes, the more expensive the euro is. So this is bullish euro, and a bullish euro trade right off the MRI bottom was very, very good for a currency trade, which are leveraged 18,000 to 1. Exaggerating, of course, but quite a bit. This is a big move for the euro, 1.5%. And we are tomorrow, we will have, or we could have, an MRI top. We probably won't. In order to have an MRI top tomorrow, we would need to close at a new swing high above 1.17799. Is that going to happen? It's possible, but currencies generally move slow. It is possible we're going to prematurely top. This consolidation is generally more bullish than bearish. And if we break the counts, we can start new counts. Right now, I am more bullish the euro than bearish, something I very rarely say because I am, in the big picture, more bearish the euro than bullish. So there's your full detailed analysis on the euro dollar exchange rate. Let me see. All right, moderators. Yep, they gave it to me. Please look at Bankify. What? I don't even know what that is. Last two super chat questions. Bankify. I don't know what that is. Oh, Bank Nifty. Sorry. That's Indian. Yeah. Didn't see that T there. Oh, wow. Look at that. Well, what do you think I'm going to say? What did you think I was going to say here? So this orange arrow would have been right on this candle. So if you have this indicator and you go to replay mode, hit the replay mode button that's right there. And I'm going to stick it right on this candle. And it's going to delete everything in front of it as if it wasn't there. And now I'm going to click not the play button, but the self-controlled play button. And now here's a giant candle with an orange arrow telling you, hey, tomorrow there's a high probability that there's an MRI top. You should be ready. And look what happens tomorrow. Boom. Boom. Gets crushed down. So let's go. All right. We topped right there with the MRI on Bank Nifty Daily. The weekly had a top a few weeks ago. Doesn't do much good now. So now we're still, once we did not recover after 4 days, now I'm bearish. I remain bearish. Like once this candle is not like reversing us, see, this still tells me we may have 1 to 4 candle correction and higher. But after this candle shows up, that's pretty much over. Then we gap down. So let's see what happens. So now I would be very interested in that short trade, but there's always stop loss as well. Short's still going. Here's a very critical line. We can bounce off of this line. Let's see if we do. My memory is okay, but it's not that great. I don't really remember what happened. But we're holding the line. Boom. MRI warning. Hey, next candle could be an MRI bottom. You may want to consider either buying or taking profits from the short. Here's your MRI bottom. So the orange arrow now disappears. And we held this line. The moment we get above this area, I can even turn my stars on. So though I would have to turn on this button here, display stars after reversal. I'm going to go first candle, change close condition, first candle, prior candle, last candle. I'm going to be teaching this on Saturday. And this part, these stars are in beta. They may have bugs. And I'm going to go, if that's last candle, prior candle. So if a green star shows up, I am very interested in going long. Though I am probably already, whoa, that showed up really quick, didn't it? That showed up really quick. Look at that. Let's see where it takes us. Well, unfortunately, I would be out of that trade. I would have been long and I would have exited with a loss. And not only do I now have a red star, we're also breaking the setup trend line, which we didn't close on. We also made a new low. So this actually takes me out of the long trade. And I feel very, I really thought this was going to work to the upside, especially since I knew that we were going to go higher because I saw what the current situation is. But yes, this trade would have lost me money. And this red star could have gotten me into a short trade, but I probably would not have taken it. And we are still going lower. Look at that. Will we have another MRI buying opportunity? No, this candle took us out. Okay, will there be a green star? There it is. Would I go long here? That's hard. That's hard for me. Because look, I already missed this whole move. I missed this. I'm not going to chase something that just went up 9%. So it's unfortunate, but I'm probably not in this trade. The star would have shown up way earlier. Star would have shown up very early in the candle. Would I have taken it then? Maybe. I'm certainly not taking it at end of day. So it could be just a missed opportunity. And now it's going up. Welcome to trading. And now we are dealing with a reversal candle and a potential MRI top tomorrow. So wouldn't have been easy to trade, but the MRI certainly did its job here. Looked like it was doing good here. Very tiny loss, hopefully break even. And for me, probably a missed opportunity. What do I think is going to happen? The posture of the chart is bullish, but how do you ignore the MRI? Here is the last time it had a top. Here is the prior time it had a top. Here is the prior time before that it had a top. And look at that beautiful buying opportunity there. Let's look at the prior sell opportunity. Since each of the last 3 sells were absolutely perfect. Let's look at the last sell cheeses. Look at this. COVID helped drop it, but these are the last 4 times the MRI gave you an MRI top. It was a trade that impossible to lose money on. Impossible. Well, anything's possible, but you gotta set that break-even stop loss because you're making at least 5% on any of these things. 5.8, and that's the smallest one. So there you go. All right, and finally, BCH question. How is BCH holding up facing another 4? Because no one cares. No one gives a shit about BCH. You know those crash test dummies I was talking about earlier for Tesla? Like, BCH is the crash test dummy that has been used and reused, and it's already split in half, and it's about to split in half again. It's just just a useless crash test dummy. All right, that's it. I promised BCH was going to be the last one. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, guys. This video has gone long enough, and I will see you all on the next one. Workshop happening this Saturday. Bye, guys. Good luck trading.